How important is Tre Jones' role going to be for the Chicago Bulls next season? Where me and Pat are going to discuss that, as well as our one hot take for the 2025-26 season. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And like a shot from 200 yards away, we're coming in fast. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it for today. Pat, today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. What's going on, Pat?
What's going on, dog?
How you feeling?
I'm all right.
You all right? You all right?
Hit the like button, subscribe to the page.
Bought any new action figures yet? Anything like that?
I still got the same ones. Got Luffy back there.
Okay. Speaking of,
my auntie gave me a. I don't know how to feel about this. What's the things called with the big head and like the little body, whatever they call?
Damn it! I would know if you didn't ask me that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But she gave me a Karl Malone, John Stockton one. I don't know how to feel about the Karl Malone part of it. My daughter was like, "Can I play with it?" I was like, "No."
What made her go with those two?
I think she has a problem. I think she like buys the like surprise boxes and just gets a bunch of stuff because she just started like doing giveaways at her house. And she had like stupid expensive stuff like some Beats headphones, freaking phone charger.
Is this the black side of the family or
white side? For sure, white side.
Okay, because you know when black people start doing stuff like that, just randomly giving away, he's like, "Oh, did you go to the doctor? What's going on?
Did you go to the doctor recently?"
His wife just started giving stuff away. You gotta ask that question. But with that said, Pat, you know we've been doing our over/under game for each team, where each player on the team going over one stat and picking an over/under on that. Pat, I don't know if you saw it or not. Tre Jones had one of the highest, outside of Lonzo Ball, he had one of the highest plus minuses for the Chicago Bulls all of last season. He actually was a pretty, like, Tre Jones came in and made a really good impact for the Chicago Bulls last year. Started some games, had really good chemistry with Kobe and Josh Giddey and Kevin Huerter at that for that matter. Last year, when Tre Jones was on the court, on defense, surprisingly enough, the Chicago Bulls were good by 8. They outscored points by 8.3 points per 100 possessions. I'm going to use that over or under a point differential of 8.3 for Tre Jones next year. That's near elite. And for reference though, it's not even the highest of his career. He's had a point differential for an entire season of plus 15 before.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm actually going to take the over because I think this year he'll get Tre Jones last season. One, he dealt with injury, but two, when he started off on the Spurs, like, who you playing over?
Yeah.
And you're not playing over Chris Paul. We just traded for De'Aaron Fox. And who was the point guard that was there before him? It was CP. Who was their backup before De'Aaron Fox got there? Or before Chris Paul got there, I guess.
I don't even remember.
I can't even think of a buddy name. But like they was using Jeremy Shohan for a while. It was weird.
Yeah,
but
Jeremy Shohan and point guard, that experiment. That's when Pop was just we should have started knowing, like, hey, Pop's just out here doing stuff, bro.
Diabolical action there, bro. But no, like I think that having a full season of play, and hopefully you can have a full healthy season of play, is going to increase that number. So I'm gonna take the over on that. I think that he could be, around that, around that, 12 to 14 range in point differential, because with his minutes off of the bench, coming in spots where the only way some of these guys are going to be able to score is if you have somebody creating with them. Like, Tre Jones is perfect for that. Yeah. And I think having him as a legitimate bench point guard is going to improve if Io doesn't just win the job outright. But to me, him and Io next to each other, that's going to improve Io's three-point shooting game. It's going to improve his efficiency at the basket, and he's already pretty efficient in both of those spots. So I think it's going to just uptick that offense off of the bench.
Yeah, and I think we haven't had a backup point guard like Tre Jones in years. Like a guy that can shoot, right? But he's also the turnover to assist ratio is really good. And I think when you look at the Bulls bench, one of the things we don't have is a lot of players that can create their own shot naturally. Unless we do move Kevin Huerter to the bench, then we will have somebody. But outside of that, we don't. So I think Tre Jones' ability to have a really good plus minus, the opportunity is going to be there for him because he's going to have players that are going to need him to create, and his ability to also hit open shots. And I think that that's going to be something. And I even think having a big like Zach Collins there, and we saw their chemistry last year and how much that helped elevate the Bulls almost right away when they came here together. So I think he's going to. I think the over on that is pretty safe as well. I would not be surprised if Tre Jones may actually lead the Bulls in point differential. Keep in mind, y'all, it's kind of easier for bench players to do that because they're out there in kind of more specialized roles. So therefore, like the Bulls could still be down by 10 points, but a bench player, if the team outscores them by 4 points, they had a positive 4-point differential, right? Like it's kind of easier for bench players to do that. So I think betting the over there for Tre Jones is going to be pretty good there. Now, as far as the role, Pat, I just mentioned a little bit. When you look at a guy, and I know it's slim right now that he gets in the game, but wouldn't you think like having Tre Jones as one of the bench guards, if Noah Estegay does get in the game, could be really good for his development too?
Yeah, 100%. Listen, it's the same reason we wanted Yuki Kawamura in the G League. Yeah. Like you having somebody who sets people up and puts them in a good position to be successful is what you're supposed to have with your point guard position. I understand we've gotten into this era since Derrick Rose came into the game and stuff like that, where the point guard is the focal point of the team or the person you build around. The job of your point guard at times should still be to point guard. It's the only thing that I give Trae Young praise on at all because he's not an efficient shooter. So how are you making an impact on the game? He's got one of the best assist to turnover ratios in the NBA. And I think that's really where the true impact for his game comes in. Like, to me, that's when you talk about a guy like Noah Estegay and how, coming off of pick and rolls, trying to play above the rim, trying to get that mid-range going. I would assume you're probably going to get the mid-range going before you get anything else going, right? Finding that shot. Those are the things that, make it easy, make my job simple. And I think that that's the part where having those two together, and depending on the lineup that they're out there with, if Noah Estegay gets out there at all, I would assume that, there probably is going to be some point where you're running that lineup with Matas out there as well. Like just having a setup guy who could be a solid defender and go out there and knock down some threes, like that's going to open up the game for you from a spacing standpoint. And it's also going to, having that guy out there who can find you in that space is going to be so important.
For sure. And he can do that. I think the thing that for a long time here for the Bulls is that we've looked at our bench players kind of doing things that weren't necessarily their strengths. I think for the first time, it seems like we're going to have a bench that we're just asking them to do what they're good at already. Yeah. And Tre Jones is one of the perfect players for that. We're not asking you to do too much outside of what's in your depth. Just go out there and do it efficiently, which Tre Jones has been efficient player for the majority of his career. I do think being in the Spurs system as long as he is too, that adds to why he is such a good and efficient player. He's just a smart basketball player, and you need guys like that. I think having stabilizers like that off your bench are important. I think his versatility too. Like we know that in certain times, and when he does have the mismatch, which is I guess crazy to say about a player that the stature of Tre Jones, but when he does have that, whether it's using his speed or not, he can go into attack mode offensively. It's just that he does it within the rhythm. Yeah, and we saw it a lot last year. Like he had games where he went absolutely off for the Bulls. So I think having a player like that is going to be important. And then when you look at right now, we don't have that player off the bench. You're just like, oh, there's your scorer off the bench. We have players that can score. And I think if you have 3-4 guys coming off your bench that all can score but aren't like scorers, having that point guard is going to help that a lot.
Yeah, so. When you throw that hard R on there, it really changes that little word around. And I think that's what we're gonna see, a guy that can go out there and be a hard-nosed scorer.
Hey, bro, speaking of,
it's crazy. Have you
ever seen the clip of Linus from Linus Tech Tips when he didn't understand what hard R was?
Yes,
bro, and he almost lost his career when his coach was like, "Wait, you used to casually use the hard R? Yeah, we used to casually use it all the time.
We just used it all the time."
He was like, wait a second, what do you think that hard R means? And the look on his face was hilarious. But I'm sorry, I know.
No, bro, he said, "Oh no, oh no."
Dude's built a multi-million-dollar empire and almost lost it off a misunderstanding. Is crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's a diabolical technicality there. But no, man, like I think the Tre Jones game is it translates to so much that the Bulls have been begging to have happen. And again, like just this is a perfect team for somebody to step up and become a star, dog.
Yeah, it
like
is.
it truly, like, bro, if somebody developed, maybe it's Giddey, maybe it's Matas, maybe Kobe White's like, I'm gonna be, one of the greatest scorers this league has ever seen. All of a sudden, if somebody steps up, bro, you have the perfect set of role players on this team at almost every position, probably except center.
And that's why when people are like, well, the Bulls are like, why like it's like if AK does somehow luck up and somebody that he drafts or somehow he gets a player that does become a star, we legitimately have everything else locked in as far as role players. Basically, you got your scorer, you got your point guard, like you just need somebody to step up and be a star. And we'll see if that ends up being up on this roster. But next up, we're going to be talking about one of our hot takes each going into next season. Maybe we feel that somebody will ascend into a star as one of our hot takes. But first, we do got to get into a message from Monarch Money. Dang it. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth because they're broke. Whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments,
one today.
And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Plus, if you do have a shared account with a loved one, you can track your shared and personal accounts and even set goals between those accounts. So help you guys stay on the right track. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. Calling people broke, is that wild?
That's what Adam Silver said.
Oh, Adam Silver definitely said, hey.
He said, hey, you can watch these clips free on YouTube.
Exactly. Hey, are you guys worried about the rising costs of to watch NBA basketball? Well, we do got a bunch of free stuff for you broke. That's basically what Adam Silver said. Stop being broke.
I ain't gonna lie though, you can get like full game highlights on YouTube.
Yeah, but the thing is the NBA's highlight, like if you go to the actual NBA page, they actually they still break down the highlights. Like it's not just like, it is what it is, man. Like casual's going casual. But Pat, there was an article over by Elias Schuster over on Bleacher Nation where he gave 4 hot takes for the Chicago Bulls season. I figured that was a great way to segue into our hot takes for the 2025-26 season for the Bulls. What's one of your hot takes for the Bulls next season?
One of my hot takes for the Bulls is I believe that Matas Buzelis will become the face of this franchise and that he will be in conversation for an all-star this season.
All-star, Matas Buzelis.
Yeah, like to me, I believe they're going to start this season off very much. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what kind of play. And I think Matas starts off very hot. Now, I don't mean he may not peter out. It don't mean he may not, second year, sophomore slumps happen and stuff like that. Like we saw that with Ayo Dosunmu. We saw it a little bit with Kobe White, although he kind of went through like 17 role changes. So I don't know if I can count that one nearly as much. Heck, I think a great player. We saw it with Josh Giddey in OKC, right? Like came out kind of being the guy that could facilitate everything. Kind of that second season, it was a little bit more up and down, and then he kind of got himself back on track here. But like I feel like everything we've seen this offseason, all the conversations around this team, all the conversations around how Matas has been putting in work this offseason, it feels like he's preparing for a workload that is a top tier or a number one option workload. And I hope we see it, and I hope we see him dominating it.
I mean, it really just comes down to how much Billy Donovan wants to test what Matas is capable of, right? Like if Billy does want to say, like, listen, there's going to be the halfway through the second quarter, Matas, that's your time with the bench unit. You're the main guy. I want to see you go out there and be the main scorer for a 3-minute stretch. Like, I would love if Billy Donovan had that. I mean, for what it's worth, I know we didn't see it at first, but Billy Donovan did have a plan for Matas Buzelis and ended up working out by the end of the season. So, we'll see if they keep that plan going, and, we'll see where he is by the end of the season with Matas. But hey, crazy take there. And for what I hope that is true. My hot take, and I guess it's going to be hot for some people, especially with the way that the Bulls view. But Pat, I've been sitting here thinking about this for a while. I think the Bulls win 45 games this season. I think 45 games are on the table for the Bulls this season.
I don't hate that take. I feel like I have to see it come together early in the season. Like,
that's fair.
To me, the problem with the Bulls is that first month has usually been like, all right, we're still the same. Like, we suck. And then, like, it's like the team starts to believe. And then halfway through the season, they're like,
figure it out.
Let's go.
Last season, of course, it was after the Zach LaVine trade. The season before that was when Zach went down and Io and Kobe took over as a starting backcourt. We went on a nice little run there. I feel you. Every season has been like some type of catalyst for this team to be like, all right, bet now things are going to start clicking.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing is that we're returning the same team that finished on, what was it, a 16-3 run in the season, something like that. We were 12-7, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that if any season, because like the last couple of years when we hit that streak, it's been because a major change happened. I think this year, because we're returning the same team with players all in the same roles, plus you're adding Io, who wasn't there at the end of the season, Isaac Okoro, who's a really good defender. I think that there's a chance that it's still going to be a little difficult to start the season, especially with our schedule early. But I think this team, where they used to start clicking around like the end of January, I would not be surprised if by the mid to end of November, that's when this team starts finding this momentum this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I think that for me, looking at this team, I mean, look, for it to happen, I would say both of our predictions have to be true.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like for me, like I think that you need to find a star, or at least somebody who, I guess maybe star is not the right word. Whatever Zach LaVine was, you need to find that to start to get that
fringe star. Is that what we call Zach LaVine?
Star, whatever. Yeah, I mean, like there were.
Because I mean, with the numbers that Zach LaVine put up, if he did that for a winning team, he'd be considered a star. It's just we never won.
He's never done that for a winning team.
Yeah.
But like I think that, like, looking at Matas, looking at what the Bulls have here, it's very feasible. And I think, even talking about the Bulls we're talking about, them putting up points and them scoring, but even the Bulls defensively, like down the stretch defensively, the Bulls were a much improved team. And I think they were much better in situational defense than we expected them to be. And that's where they've often fallen short. The Bulls always end up ranking in the top 10 in defensive metrics under Billy Donovan, or
10
whatever.
to 12.
10 to 12, the same range. But situationally, it's like, but between the minutes of 2 minutes and the end of the game, we gave up X amount of points, and that's why we lost the game. Last season, we saw that change. I think that could be, something that continues heading into this season, where the defense of this team is actually something we talk about in higher regard, especially with the addition of Isaac Okoro. Hopefully the bounce back of P. Will defensively. You've already got Io. You've already got Tre.
If P. Will does bounce back defensively, and you have 3 point of attack defenders in Io, Okoro, and P. Will, and Matas takes a step defensively, I'm not expecting him to be like some huge plus defender. You're actually talking that does sound like a team that, between Wes Unseld and Billy Donovan, he can coach up to be top 10 defensively. We've done it with less.
And Tre Jones is a good defender.
Yeah, Tre Jones is a good defender for the point guard position. He just, if he gets switched on anything other than point guard, it can get a little shaky.
Yeah, it gets shaky. I mean, he's 6'1".
Yeah, for sure.
Me and Tre Jones looking eye to eye, which is crazy.
That's crazy when you put it that way.
It's crazy, bro. Like in my mind, it's like he's short, and then I'm like, he not. It's just I'm not in the NBA.
And by the way, the fact that like me and you are like brothers at this point, and we've hung out so much. It's funny enough. Your height made me realize how much of these NBA players be capping. I've stood next to you. I've stood next to Ben Gordon.
Yeah.
I've shaken Ben Gordon's hand. Ben Gordon was listed as 6'3". You're 6'1". Me and Ben Gordon were almost eye to eye.
Oh, I'm 6. Ben Gordon was capping, but
Ben Gordon was. It wasn't just little capping. It was big. When I was at the first Bulls Fest and I shook Ben Gordon's hand.
Ben was getting measured. Remember they had the shoes in the measurement back then.
See, and when we were damn near eye to eye, I'm 5'10", even flat. On a tall day, I'm 5'10". Me and him are looking eye to eye. I'm like, hey, bro, hey, man, what we doing here?
He said on a tall day.
Tall day.
Man, that's such a real statement. Yeah, I mean, you got some good sleep and you stretch out. And you're like,
yeah.
I'm seeing over some new stuff today. What is that? You go get a good massage, a little chiropractic. I can see the top of the fridge. Look at that. Oh, man, that's funny, though. No, but back then they used to measure with the shoes on still.
That's
and
right.
I think, what was it? It was while we was doing this show, wasn't it?
Ain't no shoe in the world adding 4 inches, my boy. Like,
you remember them foam Kobe's back then, bro? Them they was playing in bricks back in the day, bro. They was playing in some lifts. They had Prince heels on the courts back in the day.
That is
bro.
hilarious, bro.
It wasn't until Derrick Rose came out with that mug that they started letting them shoes be regular again. Hey man, before we get into, I don't even know what this last topic is about with Kawhi Leonard and aspirations. I don't even know what this is about. We're gonna get to that, but first we gotta get to a read from FanDuel. Listen, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Listen, when it comes to FanDuel, y'all already know. It's the easiest way to get in on making live game bets, and I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, the same game parlays, or even jumping in, like I said, on that live action as it unfolds. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now and visit FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. More $5 bets coming your way. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
That was crazy. More $5 bets coming your way. I mean, hopefully.
More $5 bets coming your way, baby. File. Get that money.
All right, Pat. So you said you don't know what this last topic is about. So I don't know if you saw it or not. Pablo Torre is keeping his foot on the necks of Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers in this aspiration thing. So Pablo Torre came out with what he called maybe the smoking gun yesterday, in the fact that, we found out that Steve Ballmer, who was the 99% majority owner of the Clippers, invested $50 million, or was it 150? He invested some money in the company aspiration. Well, the minority owner of the Clippers, who only owns 1% of the team, it came out yesterday that he made a $1.99 million payment to aspiration when a payment was late to Kawhi Leonard that was due to him of $1.75 million. That payment was then made to Kawhi 9 days later. Now, why this is interesting is that the Clippers minority owner, why would he be investing in a company that at that point had cut off 20% of its workforce? It was already basically about to go heads up. And so they're calling this what could be the smoking gun. Of the NBA, of course, corroborates this in their own investigation. This is just adding more layers now to it. How you feeling, Pat?
I'm still just wondering who's behind that tree. You know,
that's Steve Ballmer.
Is that Steve Ballmer? Is that Steve Ballmer behind that tree? Listen, man, this is such a weird situation. Like I said, it's for a dude from Compton. He from Compton, ain't he?
Is he? Is Steve Ballmer from Compton?
No, not Steve Ballmer. Kawhi.
Oh, probably.
Like, for a dude from Compton, I expected better from Kawhi. And it's like, I feel like he's running this very poorly and has not made this look real. Now, here's the thing.
He's from Moreno Valley. I don't even know where that is.
I ain't Compton. But here's the thing for me. Like, I know, like, it is important, but the Clippers suck, so I don't really care about Steve Ballmer investing the money. And, like, I get it. Like, you want to keep the integrity of the game, and they're trying to get the gambling out, and you want to make sure that people are being paid, and you don't want people circumventing the salary cap because that can make it difficult. But this is more of a story if the Clippers win a ring.
See, I get what you're saying in that, but I think it's a story regardless, because, like, you don't want it to get to the point where a team wins a ring before this. Like, especially now that we're in the second tax apron, we have more billionaire owners than ever before. Like it used to be like a lot of the teams are owned by millionaires, but now that they are billionaires, so they have the money, they just are held back by the salary cap, that you could see more things like, and then it also came out too that, Pablo Torre found out that part of the negotiations with the Raptors when Kawhi, before he signed with the Clippers and thought about staying with the Raptors, is that his agent requested a no-show advertising deal as well. So this is something that Kawhi's agent was basically requesting in his contract talks. To me, Adam Silver came out too and said that they don't have to have beyond a reasonable doubt. This isn't illegal. This isn't a court of law. Exactly. They could do it based off circumstantial evidence. I don't know, bro. Like I feel like the NBA has to do something here, bro.
Here's the thing, right? Are we saying that owners cannot invest in players' company?
Well, it's not a player's company. That's the thing. This was used. This is a completely separate company.
No,
it was used as the middleman to get extra payments to Kawhi.
I get what we're saying it is, but in theory, it's a company that Kawhi is a part of, and Steve Ballmer is investing in that company, whether it's a failing company, whether it's not a real company. Like, I just feel like you're basically going to have to set this line of demarcation, which maybe they already have, where it's like, if somebody is on your team and they have a business, you cannot invest in it.
No, I see that, but that's the thing. I think you're missing the point. It's not Kawhi's business. They paid Kawhi an advertising deal, so Kawhi isn't an owner in aspiration at all. So, like, unless you want to say like a team can't get an endorsement deal from any company that an NBA owner is invested in, but then that will cut out a lot of companies because a lot of these owners are invested. I think it's the sense that you can see a direct line of money invested being a payment to Kawhi through the company, and then you can see the little bit off top that the company took the pocket to falter that deal. Like, it's just like, if I give you $20,
it's middleman, it's money.
Yeah, it's middleman, and then you give kid, I owe kid $20, I give you $25, you keep the $5 and give kid the $20.
Right.
Let's payola.
No, but again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying the money trail, like, there's going to have to be, out of this is going to have to be real lines of demarcation because honestly, the only thing that you could say is this company said we're going to give Kawhi a deal, and the Clippers said we're going to invest in this company, or Steve Ballmer said we're going to invest in this company.
Well, it happened too closely. I think if they were already invested, and I think the thing too is that it's a no-show, and that's why I said this whole thing would blow up if all Kawhi did was make a post and say, "Hey, I'm eating this burger by aspiration." You're like, it's the no-show part of it, right? Like, it's like you didn't do anything, which makes it even more fishy. If he actually did a commercial, did a couple of social media posts where it's like, all right, they did this to help him grow the company. Like, it's the fact that there's a direct line of the payments from Kawhi as the middleman, and then on top of it, you didn't do nothing.
Right.
So that's probably where this is ultimately going to get into. Maybe the NBA makes it to where no-show endorsement deals are illegal, and I think that's a fair thing if they were to come to that.
Right. That's kind of what I mean. Like, there's going to have to come this line of demarcation of like, hey, bro, like y'all can't be in the same stuff. Like you can't, unless it's through the team, you can't have this deal, because even a no-show deal, right, is kind of like basically just show up to an event every now and then and shake some hands.
No, that's the thing. No, he literally did nothing.
I know he did nothing. I'm just saying, like, what's going to happen is they're going to start doing these deals, and they're going to say, come to this event and shake some hands.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's going to be, hey, hey, Ant-Man, we can only pay you $120 million over 4. But if you go to this event and you shake some babies and kiss some hands, we can pay you $60 million for this event. And now all of a sudden I got you on a $180 million deal, but you getting 60 in your pocket off of this advertising. Like, the NBA is literally going to have to say teams and players can't be involved in this, or nothing is going to come of this.
Let's see. I guess we just take two, because I don't think you can ever cut out owners, because there are so many owners on teams and so many investments that they have not being invested in, it being some overlap. I think the policing of it more so has to be, you got to do something if you're going to do this. There has to be some type of work you're actually doing for this company. Otherwise, you can't do the deal. The no-show deal in the sense of, we're just gonna pay you just to sit at home and here it goes. That's probably gonna have to go by the wayside. Right. It's gonna be, no, you can have advertising. Like let's say Steve Ballmer's a 5% owner in Nike. You can advertise with Nike, but it has to be something visible that we can see that isn't you actually endorsing that company, that where there's a line of work you have to do some work for the companies that are paying you for endorsements.
But that's where I think it gets scary though, because not to say you're wrong. Like, I think where it gets scary is like, let's say I want to go get the best player in the league, whoever that is at that point. I want Luka on my team, and I don't have the money to pay him under the cap. So I give him a deal that people are like, this is crazy. Then I tell Luka, make a Snapchat post for United Healthcare, and United Healthcare sends him a $70 million check that just comes out of the owner's pockets. Like, now I'm circumventing the second apron by doing basically what Kawhi did, but I'm telling you, do like the most minimal stupid thing so it don't look like that. Like, I think
but there's no way you can completely, like I said, there's impossible unless the NBA creates these are the only companies you can do endorsements with, as we verified everything. There's no way you can get that out, because there's too many owners, they have too many billionaires that have their money in too many things with investments and stuff. You can never completely eliminate an owner, I think, being involved in some form of investment in every company that a player doesn't endorse. I just don't think you can. If you do police it, you'd have to put in heavy financial forensic work to get that done. I just don't think that's going to be the thing that they could do. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either.
Yeah,
which is why I think this is kind of gonna, like, I think Pablo Torre bringing this to light is going to, especially all the teams that are trying to circumvent the second salary cap, the second apron. This is probably like a bunch of teams that are like, oh, hey, don't you want to be endorsed by XYZ? Let's get our endorsement guy. Like, I think what you're about to get is very similar to College Booster.
Well, see, I think that thing that you're talking about, I think that's probably already been a thing. To be 100% honest, I don't think that, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad, like, if I'm Steve Ballmer and I have a relationship with the owner at Nike and I say, listen, this is the most we can pay you in the salary cap, but my guys over at Nike, they got something that, that they want to work out with you too. I do think that happens more than we know.
Probably.
I think it's the under the table nature of this that the NBA has to do as much. And it's more of a, I'm not going to lie to you, it's more of an optics thing than anything, but I think that optics, especially when you're heading into so much second tax apron thing, is going to be important for the NBA to try to at least appear that they're trying to get out of the league a little bit.
Yeah, and the last thing we heard from Silver on it, when he was basically calling everybody broke, was that they would have to find substantial evidence. Like, it would have to be so overwhelming that the evidence against Kawhi is basically like, this dude literally paid you under the table, which maybe this is that. But I think when your commissioner is saying substantial evidence, he's basically saying this is about to be swept under the table. Like, let's get to the season, play ball.
Yeah.
Which is probably him, like you just said, it's probably him going, hey, we knew this was going on, dog. Like, shut up, Pablo. You got your story out there. Shout out to you, man. But let's get up out of here, man. I got to get my daughter to school. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Show of love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. That was a good topic, actually. Leave a 5-star review.
Pat said, I have no idea what we're talking about.
I ain't got no clue. I didn't even know something new had come out. That was the thing. Bro, because I saw the first thing and I was like, I do not care. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people getting paid under the table. Oh my God, are you telling me there's bad business out here? Crazy. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, basically anywhere you want us. You can get it. We'll see you guys bright and early on Monday, y'all. Peace.
Peace.